Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Empowered Marriage Podcast. Just making sure that my microphone is on, and yes, it is. So, you're listening to the Empowered Marriage Podcast, whether this is the first time that you've heard this or you've listened to many episodes, welcome, wherever you're listening from. So, I'm the host of this podcast. I have a business called Power of Change Counselling and Coaching. Very much specialising in the relationship coaching, and so I will talk more about that in future podcasts. So today's podcast, it's episode 74. So get rid of the resentment once and for all. Once and for all. So you might be listening to this because, I've got resentment. Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. You may have been scrolling and you've come across this and you've seen that I'm talking about resentment. So as a marriage therapist, as a relationship coach, this is very, very common. When couples are coming in and working with me, it's often because both parties have resentment. Now, you can't underestimate the pain and the heartache and the discord that is going to occur in a relationship when there is resentment. So I've talked about this previously, but I think it's really important to talk about it again. What happens in a relationship? There's 4 stages that a relationship goes through when the connection and the communication starts breaking down. The first is there's a bit of resistance. You can feel it inside the body. You're not really sharing with your partner what's going on. You're just a bit agitated. You're a bit annoyed. Okay, if that resistance doesn't get shared, the next stage, number 2, is the resentment. Resentment comes in, and I'm going to talk about that today, and also what you can do to start moving that. The most crucial tool so that you no longer have resentment. However, if you don't clear out the resentment, the third part of a relationship breaking down is the rejection. Now, rejection, what does that look like? Rejection is where you may stonewall each other, where you ignore each other, where you're living separate lives. You might watch TV in different rooms. I mean, it's going to play out differently for all different couples. There's no right and wrong. But when you're in rejection, you actually don't have a lot of time and energy for your partner. The last part of a relationship breaking down is when you go into repression. Repression is when you're numb, when you shut down, and you actually stop caring and you can't be bothered. So, question to ask yourself is, what am I feeling? Where am I in my relationship right now? Am I in resistance? Am I feeling some discord in myself, but I'm not sharing it with my partner? So we've got resistance. We've got this feeling that what am I trying to say here? You're just feeling mighty uncomfortable. And if you don't move through these different cycles and let them go and get to a place of acceptance, get to a place where you're communicating really effectively, you're going to be in for an unhealthy relationship. So anyway, where I'm going today is I want to talk about a tool that I feel is absolutely crucial in being able to move that resentment. So that's that second stage. That's after resistance. You got some resentment. You haven't got to the rejection yet, and you haven't gone to the repression stage. If you're in those stages, often you do need to seek counselling, coaching, seek some support to move it. So today I'm talking about the resentment. So when we're in resentment, we can feel like we're not being heard, we're not being seen, we're not being validated, we don't feel important, we feel lonely, we can feel sadness, we can feel anger, and of course, resentment. And so these feelings of resentment, they're not healthy. They sit in the body and they stop you from living a dynamic, excited, motivated, hooked in, turned on, turned in life. All right? So what do you do with this? What do you do with this resentment? No, so ideally it would be that you're able to talk to your partner. However, what I have seen over the years is that people stop talking. They stop sharing, and it creates a lot of damage, creates a lot of pain. What do you think I see in my room? Fair bit of the time. And if you're listening to this and you have worked with me, I'm not talking about you. I'm being very generalized. But it will be, you see those chairs behind me? Couples, they start opening up. They start talking because it's being able to feel safe. It's being able to feel that your partner isn't going to go into the fight and flight. If you bring up something that you need to talk about. So today I'm going to talk about a really helpful tool that is going to help you move that resentment inside of you. So particularly if you're in a long-term relationship, what are you hanging on to? What happened 5 years ago that you still get triggered with? What happened 6 years ago? What happened 2 years ago? The idea in a relationship, in a marriage, is to constantly moving that energy. So you're not hanging on to anything. There's no resentment. There's no resistance. You have a clean slate every time you get up in the morning. It's a clean slate. You've cleared out anything that is hanging around. And this tool, this self-empowerment tool, is going to help you do that. And it's called SELF. SELF. So this tool I created due to my own stuff, but also the people I've worked with, because it's finding different tools that are going to help you stay emotionally centered, mentally centered, grounded, and aligned with you. It's all about coming back to yourself. And in relationships, we can lose ourselves. However, it is extremely important that you stay aligned with yourself. So I created SELF, and I used it on myself for a long time. I now bring it in working with people, and I want to share this with you today. So SELF, exactly like it sounds, SELF. So when do I use SELF? Well, anytime you feel resentment. So what's resentment? Sadness, agitation, confusion, overwhelm, anger, hopelessness, powerlessness. Anytime you are feeling an emotion that you are unable to process. Where's this coming from? Why am I feeling this? I don't like this. I will numb myself out. I will shut down, or I'll drink a lot, or I'll smoke weed, or I'll watch porn, or I'll eat food. I'll get on Facebook. All of these numbing ways so that we don't have to feel. However, you are not a robot. You have a body. And the idea is, if you want to feel fully alive and fully engaged in your relationship and feel turned on inside, tuned in, you actually have to learn how to process your feelings. So, if a strong emotion comes in, stop. Yes, that begins with the S. That was the biggest thing that I didn't know how to do. I didn't know how to stop. I would get busier. I'd work harder. I would just do. So I didn't have to be. Oh God, it sounds like the freaking alphabet. Anyway, the first part of self is to stop. That's the S. So you stop, and you just okay, let's use an example. You're feeling sad. You've woken up, you're going along okay, but there's just these waves of sadness have come in, and you're just not really sure what to do with them. So you stop. And you take some deep, slow breaths. So let's do it now. You just breathe in your nose. Breathe out of your mouth. You just slow down. You slow your breathing down. You get into the body. Again, I'll bring it back to me, because it's the easiest one to work with, because I know me the best. Anytime I had strong emotions, any sort of emotions, I didn't know how to be with them. So I'd get busy. So the first thing is to stop. So do that. You do your breath. You just stop. Sometimes it can be helpful to just put your hand on your heart, but stop. And so you bring in stillness and you connect with the breath. So that's S. E, you inquire. Well, what am I actually feeling? What am I feeling inside my body? And so you go inside. For a lot of people, closing their eyes and going inside can be hugely helpful because it helps you drop into your body and drop in. We're so used to being in our heads and trying to work it all out. A lot of us, we live in the head up. And if you want to be able to process your feelings, if you want to be able to get rid of that resentment once and for all, you've got to get out of that head and get into the body. Sorry about that, but that's what you need to do. So we've done the S, you've stopped. E, inquire, what am I feeling right now? And drop in. And for a lot of people, putting a hand on a heart, what am I feeling right now? And feel it. Name it. And we have a lot of fear around feeling. We have a lot of fear that our emotions will take over and we won't be in control. We cannot control our emotions. They flow in and they flow out. But we do control our emotions by trying to stop them, by putting them in a box, putting a lid on it. Remember, it'd be close to 30 years ago now, my younger brother committed suicide. I was not equipped. I was 19 at the time. I had absolutely no idea how to process this. I didn't even know how to ask for help. So what did I do? I put it all in a box. I put a lid on it and I put it away. However, of course, it manifested. Grief does. Anyway, I'm not going to sidetrack. But what I'm saying is I didn't know how to process my emotions, so I put it in a box. And, of course, I had to open that box and move and look at all of that. But anyway, that's a story for another day. When we don't know how to process, we have coping mechanisms of how to do that. And a lot of that is shutting down, parking it away, numbing down. We go into freeze a lot. So the idea is we come out of that. And if you want your resentment to move in your relationship, you've got to begin doing some of this work. You've actually got to move it. All right. So we've gone into self, which is stop. We've gone into E, and you're inquiring, what am I feeling? Notice what you're believing about yourself. It's where am I feeling these feelings? Where is this tension in my body? Have I felt this before? You can go as much in the quality of the questions as you want, but it's inquire. Inquire, what am I feeling inside my body? And you can go a step further. So sadness, I might be feeling it in the chest. And if there was a shape there, what shape is there? And this shape, what colour is it? How heavy is it? Oh my God, it's about 10 kilos. Because we want to move it. And so, SEL, loving yourself enough to give yourself what you need. We don't love ourselves enough to give ourselves what we need. We'll give it to everybody else because then they will give us the love. But gosh, that's a really long way around giving yourself love, isn't it? It's trying to give it from other people. What if you could actually give it to yourself? So the L of self is loving yourself enough to give yourself what you need. And you might want to feel understood, feel heard, feel important, courage, strength. So it's loving yourself enough. We can go deeper with this. I do this in psychotherapy, where often some of our childhood stuff can come up. And so it's the adult in us being able to attend to our inner child. I'm not going to go into that now. I'm giving you an exercise that you can use at home. So you're loving yourself enough to give yourself what you need. Okay, you're feeling really sad. So if you're feeling sad, what do I need to feel better? So check in with yourself. We're not used to this. We're always out there. Tell me what to do. Okay, if I'm feeling sadness, what do I need to feel better? So it could be action things. I need a hot bath. I need to walk in nature. I want a hot cup of hot chocolate. I need to write in my journal. I need to listen to some music. I need to light a candle and just meditate with a candle. Do some candle gazing. Look, I could just go on and on and on, but it's loving yourself enough to give yourself what you need, because we don't. We're too busy. We've got our to-do list. We've got to do. We've got to show our worth. And so it's being able to love yourself enough. Look, I have really found that part of it very, very difficult, because I have always done and do and not good enough. And I show my worth through doing. So loving yourself enough to give yourself what you need is, how can I care for me? What is the unmet need in me? So I'm feeling sadness. Okay, I want to feel love. So what is love? Love could be just slowing down. It could be taking the afternoon off. Could be having a doona day. Again, the idea, it doesn't matter what it is. It's what is right for you. Loving yourself enough to give yourself what you need. I could go further with it, but I won't. Okay, I want to keep it simple. So the self, S-E-L-F. So S, stop. E, inquire, what am I feeling? L, love yourself enough to give yourself what you need. What is that unmet need in you? F, fill your cup up. So it's really just adding on. So filling your cup up, sometimes it can be the physical well-being of what you need to do to fill your cup up. It could be actually another effective great way to look at this is filling your cup up emotionally, mentally, spiritually and physically. I find this really helpful. So daily checking in, and particularly for you mums who are very, very time poor, you've got children who take everything out of you. How am I meant to have time? Find time, even if it's 5 minutes. So emotionally, spiritually, mentally and physically. So perhaps let's go back to the sadness example, filling your own cup up with sadness. So emotionally could be writing in your journal, emotionally connecting with your feelings. It could be writing poetry, emotionally connecting, or you may emotionally need to connect with someone. So that's the first part, emotionally. Mentally, do I need to educate myself? Do I need to listen to a podcast or read a book? Even just a couple of pages. All of this is going to fill your own cup up and fill yourself up. Spiritually, spirituality is different for everybody, but do I need crystals? Do I need incense? Do I need to do some sage clearing? Do I need to stand on the earth? It's endless. That's your spirituality part. And then the physical part, do I need to move my body? Do I need to do yoga? Do I need to go for a walk? Filling your own cup up. Many, many different examples. So bushwalking. What would bushwalking come under? Well, that would be physical. It would also be emotional. For some people, it's spiritual. Surfing. What's surfing come under? Well, it's definitely physical and definitely emotional, because you're connecting at one. You're at grace. You're with this huge, amazing ocean and you feel really good inside. You may not have actually realised that, but that is what is going on. So I really want to sort of bring this all together. I'm talking about how to get rid of resentment once and for all. I want you to try this self-empowering tool called Self. So choosing to let go of resentment is a choice. Yes, it is coupled with communication skills, which I've talked about on many other podcasts, but for this particular one, using this tool, Self, is a way for you to constantly bring it back to yourself, stopping and just noticing what's going on inside, and actually attending to yourself and being there for yourself. So look, I really hope this has been helpful. That is the whole idea behind these podcasts, is for you to feel more closeness and connection and passion within yourself, but also within your relationship and in your marriage. So look, if this has been helpful, I'd love a review, because this will encourage or help other people find me. So go on to iTunes, The Empowered Marriage, leave a review, or on my website, powerofchange.com.au. This also comes out in a blog form, so if you perhaps are driving and you didn't quite catch this, go on to Power of Change website, go onto the blog page. This is all in a blog form. Print it up, have it there, because often it's quite difficult to change, and sometimes we need little reminders. So perhaps print it up, have it there, and just practice this and begin to see the changes. Because if you can let go of the resentment, it is going to make a very big difference in the quality of your relationship moving forward. Anyway, until next time, the power to change is within you, and I'll see you on the next podcast. See ya.